Nancy Drew.
Mr. Lancaster, what a coincidence.
Is it?
I have some questions for you. Do you have a moment?
Sure. I was just visiting some old friends.
Do you often hang out in cemeteries?
Where are you off to? We'll walk and talk.
You claimed you didn't know Josephina.
So I did.
But I've since learned that she worked on your most recent mayoral campaign. In fact, she was quite a vocal supporter of yours.
I don't run my own campaigns. My involvement is minimal, at best.
How can that be?
No. I refuse to let Ethel run unopposed. So I hire a team. They run the campaign.
You're telling me you don't even want it?
I'll be mayor of Randomtown someday, but I'm in no rush. I have plenty of time.
I see. Throw enough money at it and eventually it'll happen.
Something like that.
How much money were you throwing at Josephina?
I'm not sure what position she held.
Can you find out?
Of course. I do keep the records.
I'd like to see them. What is it between you and Ethel?
An ancient feud. Who really knows how these things start? Ever since we were children, it was always one or the other of us. Before we knew it, everyone in town had picked a side.
Who is this?
Impressed? This is our founder, Mortimer Random. There's a legend, spooky children's story really, that Mortimer here was a vampire. And they say he lived for over a century.
Do people really believe that?
I think on some level, yes. Even if they don't admit it. It's still hard for me to imagine you as a proper detective.
Oh?
But I hope you'll consider staying with us in Randomtown. For a while.
I should be going now. Thank you for your time, Mr. Lancaster.
Please. Jonathan.
How dare you? How dare you read this?
I dare very easily.
You will not take advantage of me.
I'm not taking advantage of you.
Aren't you? Aren't you?
I can help you.
You can leave. Sleep on every park bench in this town for all I care. Parker. Oh, it's you. This isn't a good time. No, that's not what I meant. I understand. Yeah, she's right here. It's the mayor.
Hello, Miss Mayor? Yes, how did your session with MGEM go? Of course. Detective Parker? She's been here. Excuse me, Detective Parker has been poring over her case file all day while I have conducted the interviews. I don't like your insinuating that she would drink on the job. Sam and I will be working together from here on out. In fact, while I have you, Mayor Rickenbacker, we'd like to interview you as well. Yes, all right. Bye now. Today, I interviewed Christopher Lucas and Emily Gemstone. I learned that Lucas was and remains in love with Josephina. I also learned of Josephina's activity in community politics and the enemies it made her, namely Ethel Rickenbacker. Jonathan Lancaster agreed to turn over the financial records of his most recent campaign, which Josephina was heavily involved in. Rickenbacker is, of course, a student of MGEM's, who also had reason to be upset with Josephina. Have I missed anything?
Lucas wasn't in love with her. He was obsessed. Everyone who knew them could tell, and they all thought it was getting out of hand. We think Josephina was going to quit the bakery.
Does the public know about the connection between Josephina and the other disappearances?
We've never disclosed the connection publicly. The incidents are infrequent. The girls are never in town for more than 3 weeks before they disappear. Josephina broke the mold. How did you do it? I've been trying to get Lucas and MGM to talk for weeks.
I'm not a cop. Rickenbacker's coming. Shall we interview her together?
You want to take the lead?
Love to. Mayor Rickenbacker, what was your relationship to Josephina Barrett?
Mayor constituent.
Your personal relationship, please.
We barely had one.
Were you or were you not a frequent customer of Christopher Lucas's pastry pantry?
I was.
What changed?
Chris fired MGM.
And hired Josephina.
Yes, thank you, detective. MGM and I have been friends for a long time. She's the reason I began going to the pastry pantry to begin with. Lucas is a creep, and Josephina was a flighty ditz. Of course I stopped going.
Were you at all upset with Josephina's involvement in Jonathan Lancaster's mayoral campaign?
Again, flighty ditz. I didn't need her.
But she was very effective in getting votes for Lancaster. Even after the election, no hard feelings?
I won. That's all that matters.
Did you ever discuss any of this with MGM?
Of course, during our sessions.
And what do those entail?
That's private.
Hippie bullshit.
The truths I've learned are so beyond your understanding. The things I knew and the things I've come to know about the world, you're too shallow to grasp them, detective. Maybe you can. I'm not sure. I don't have a read on you yet.
What kind of things?
The corrupting nature of evil among men and how to oppose it.
This is ridiculous.
Who told you to think that, Parker? I have the truth in this book.
Can your book tell us the truth about who killed Josephina?
No, but I have a guess.
Lucas?
Lancaster.
No.
Why?
Jonathan was one of the only people in this town who took me seriously when I was a rookie. He could never...
Biased much.
You're one to talk about bias. What's to say you're not trying to frame him, huh?
What do you think, Miss Stockbrooke?
Jonathan says he never knew Josephina. And I'm inclined to believe him.
I think we're done here. Unless you had anything else.
Just one more thing. Why did you hire me?
I couldn't trust this one over here to solve it herself.
But me, specifically?
You were the only detective I could trust. May I go now?
What are you thinking?
Why did you react that way when she brought up magic? Look, I know it sounds strange, but...
I'm not talking about that with you.